This is a 31.5-inch OLED that can do 4K at 360 hertz. But if you don't want to game at 4K at 360 hertz, you could also game at 1440p at 520 hertz. But if you didn't want to game at 1440p, you could game at 1080p at 680. This will have a 100 or 1500 nit peak brightness with 98 watts of USB power delivery to your laptops. It is on the horizon, and when it does come out, I will be very tempted to upgrade to this new monitor.
You got time to save money, Ethan. You got to get that birthday money, get that holiday money, New Year's money, save it all up, dude. Splurge on this bad boy in 2027. The one thing, Ethan, that people are worried about with the SpaceX IPO, this is where we're going to nerd out a little bit, is Elon is known for taking out money, debt, and using his shares as collateral, like value collateral. A lot of people are worried that because they have money invested in like 401ks and different portfolios, those portfolios are going to be purchasing SpaceX stock, therefore increasing the value of SpaceX stock. Elon Musk is going to leverage his ownership over stock and get a loan out and use the loan as just living money, and then, you know, either liquidate his stock or whatever it might be. I don't know. But the idea is like a lot of people are going to be investing in SpaceX, and depending on how Elon acts and how he moves, he could crash and burn and essentially rug pull a lot of people.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the BedTech Show. This is Ben and Ethan. What do we have going on tonight?
Yes, some good conversation. Honestly, I feel like there's so much news happening that's hard to keep up. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite things that have happened over the last couple of weeks, days. Ethan and I kind of have two algorithms going on right now. Ethan's is all about Computex, new consumer products. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about some of the cool products that are coming out of there, some insane stats on some of these new consumer products. My algorithm is more so on the financial side with IPOs, some big companies planning on IPOing, good and bad. We'll dive into it. We'll kind of chat about that. But some good news overall, keep you informed, help you take some thoughts and opinions on where you want to go put your money, whether it's new consumer tech or whether it's some high-tech IPO that may rocket ship literally or may crash and burn literally. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Ethan, let's talk about Computex, dude. Let's talk about some of the products that are coming out. You were starting to give me a little bit of insight, and I just could not believe some of these stats that were coming out. What you got for us?
So it's been pretty crazy. Computex kicked off in Taipei, Taiwan this week. There are a bunch of big tech brands like NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm, Intel. They're announcing new laptops, new handhelds, new chips, and a whole lot more. So the biggest thing that I think was like kind of the highlight is NVIDIA unveiled their RTX Spark, which is their first family of PC computer CPUs, which will be arriving in laptops and mini PCs starting in the fall. It is an all-in-one system on a chip, so it has the CPU and the GPU integrated into one chip. It's going to be an ARM-based architecture, very similar to Apple's series of chips and how well they are. And this is going to be kind of a direct competitor, finally, to Apple, who hasn't really had anyone competing in this segment. And there's going to be a big partnership with Microsoft in this front, where they're going to be directly supplying the chips for their new line of studio products. And it looks like an actual good MacBook competitor. One of the biggest things with their RTX Spark is that it's going to have 6,000 core, more than 6,000 cores. It's going to be based on their Blackwell RTX GPU. It's going to have up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory, which is insane. And basically, you're going to be able to have your own AI agent on locally on your laptop, and it's going to be very power efficient. So we shouldn't need 3,000 watts of power to power these things.
The
And
freaking brick of a power bank.
yeah, and not only is it going to be good for all of that, but you are going to be able to game on it as well. So for my fellow nerds out there who like to have their cake and eat it too, this seems to be the chip that can do that. So I'm pretty excited for this. When I saw this, I'm like, I think my next laptop is going to be Microsoft Studio. So
Yeah, I don't blame you. Some other stats that I was chatting with Claude, speaking of AI, some other stats that Claude pumped out was on paper, okay, the RTX Spark delivers roughly 1,000 TOPS, which is trillions of operations per second. And Apple's chip is 38 TOPS. That's they have a 38 TOPS neural engine, which obviously on paper is like that's an insane difference, right?
mm-hmm.
Now, how impactful that is, how much the user experience actually sees that, how much is actually delivered in a day-to-day use case, we'll see. But essentially, you're getting much better operational power. And then also the RTX Spark, you mentioned being able to game on it. They have their integrated GPU in it, and supposedly it's equivalent to NVIDIA's RTX 5070, which to me, I'm like, I mean, it's not 5090, but like, dude, 5070, like that's pretty nuts. That's actually
it's
pretty crazy.
it's a great card. You can do a lot of really good gaming
Yes.
on that card. It can handle
Yes.
all the brand new titles that are coming out, and I mean, as long as you're not pushing 4K or above, it handles really well.
And the fact that it's integrated, so you don't have to have like a standalone separate graphics card, like that
Yeah.
to me is huge.
Yeah, because I know people that'll have their laptop when they want to do anything graphically intensive, they'll plug in an external GPU just so their computer can
Mm,
handle that.
yeah.
And that used to be the thing with Apple back when Nvidia and Apple were on the same team, kind of, and they liked each other. But ever since then, eGPUs have kind of been a niche type of product for what it does. It just doesn't have the good value to performance as getting like a tower desktop.
Yeah, for sure. One point that was brought up in this conversation with Claude that I'm having is it said that the RTX Spark beat Apple M5 chip about 54% of the multi-core tests, but apparently it would lose out to the M5 Pro. So,
Interesting.
don't know how truly it is as like an Apple killer. So I'm really curious to see what the market says about it after it comes out. I love the idea of this chip. I think it'll be awesome. I agree with you. I'm very much a PC guy, and to have this chip in what a PC for me, like I'm very much like a laptop PC guy. And so
Mm-hmm.
to have that in a laptop for me is like so huge. I would love that. We did buy a MacBook Air, and we really like it. It's my first MacBook in my life. I got it right here. And so far we like it. But I just like PC better. That's the accountant in me that prefers like the Microsoft suite and the Microsoft UOS. And so, yeah, that's me. I know a lot of people could come after me for that. Be like, "You love Microsoft Works." I'm like, I don't necessarily love it. I'm just used to it. It's more customizable. I know my way around it, and there's pros to it. Anyway, with that being said, I'm excited for the RTX Spark to come to market. So coming limited supply, what, holidays 2026,
Yeah,
right?
fall is supposed to be when they're
Fall, okay.
starting to roll out. Most likely, based on how everything's going, it's probably going to be a small launch. And so People will get it, they'll scalp it, and prices will be astronomical. I wouldn't be surprised if the 128 gigabyte unified memory of the RTX Spark isn't close to 4,000 or more when it comes out. I won't be surprised with that. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I mean, if you fully kit out a M5 Pro or Pro chip or Max chip, it's around that ballpark also.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I expect multiple thousand. And that's
So,
it's the price you pay for really good performance.
yeah.
If you don't want the top of the line, you can always go with what's the new MacBook that we really like? I forgot.
Well, the
I forgot.
MacBook Neo.
The Neo. The Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want to drop money on the RTX, you go with the Neo. That's very
Go with the
consumer
Neo.
friendly. Well,
You
cool.
know, speaking of the Neo,
Yes.
I have a theory. So basically, the Neo is an iPhone chip. I think it would be really cool if Apple made a computer where you could just dock your phone into it and run Mac OS through the chip on your phone.
I have seen this concept in like 3D mock-ups before, actually, where you dock your phone and then it pops up on a screen. The difference is like your phone OS is different than like MacBook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you have it like if you have the OS preloaded, you just dock your phone and it leverages the compute power of your phone. Why
Yeah,
not? You know?
yeah. It already has that capability. Apple just doesn't want to do it. So
I'm curious now to look it up. Let's see. What would I even search for? I don't know. Yeah. Not a thing,
but,
obviously, but
but yeah, that would be like if I was CEO at Apple, one of the first things I would do, that would be let's people that already have their phones, let's let them use that in their computer as well.
Ethan, that completely contradicts Apple's culture of make as many products as possible that are required in order to use our products efficiently.
That
So,
that is true.
headphone jack attachments and new bricks, new plugins for the wall, all these things. Ethan, that your idea is just it's too cohesive. We're
It's too
losing.
consumer friendly.
It's too consumer friendly. Apple will lose out on profits. They need more products that are priced 1,000% above what the market would expect. You need, Ethan, think about the monitor stands, Ethan. Just like
I
think
know.
about that for an example. $1,000 monitor stands, Ethan. Get your mind on that, okay?
We need $400 wheels
We
for our
need four.
brand.
Exactly. They'll make that technology, Ethan, but they'll make sure that you have to buy like an extra dock adapter. You'll have to
Yeah,
buy
it'd
like
be proprietary.
for sure it would be. The EU would just have a heyday ripping that apart.
And,
It's
and it
not
would
it,
only have to be the newest generations of phones.
Yes, exactly. And every new generation would get a new type of dock that they
Yep.
would have to attach to. That's the Apple way.
That is the Apple way. So, however, at Computex, there have been some other things that have come up that have been really cool. MSI is coming out with the world's first triple mode QD OLED
Dude, this
gaming
blew me
monitor.
away. This blew me away when you told me.
I know that it blew me away as well. This is a 31.5-inch OLED that can do 4K at 360 hertz. But if you don't want to game at 4K at 360 hertz, you could also game at 1440p at 520 hertz. But if you didn't want to game at 1440p, you could game at 1080p at 680 hertz. This will have a 100 or 1500 nit peak brightness with 98 watts of USB power delivery to your laptops. It isn't going to ship until 2027. However, it is on the horizon, and when it does come out, I will be very tempted to upgrade to this new monitor.
You got time to save money, Ethan. You got time.
I
Take that,
I'm betting this is going to be a close to $2,000 monitor at least.
get that birthday money, get that holiday money, New Year's money, save it all up, dude.
Yeah,
Splurge on this bad boy in
kids
2027.
don't need to go to college.
I want you watching YouTube at 680 hertz, Ethan.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Once you go 680, everything just seems like stop motion. It's terrible. I can't believe that number though. 680, like what can the human eye process? Like what can we actually see and tell? Like I don't even know if that makes a difference, you know? I'm
Yeah, I
curious.
that is a good question. What the human eye can process. I mean, generally from like all the videos that I've seen from like Linus Tech Tips, there is very subtle differences beyond like 144 hertz and anything beyond that. I mean, you have to be like really looking for it to notice anything imperceptible. The jump from 60 to 120, that is very noticeable.
For
But
sure.
when you
For sure.
when you start going beyond that, it gets really hard to tell the difference. And the return on investment for going up that high is very low.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It, yeah, it's just, I had a couple thoughts about this. A part of me is like, is MSI just kind of like whipping out their banana and being like, we have the biggest banana out of everyone here? You know, like, is it
Yes.
kind of like a measuring game right now? 680 hertz, bro. Like, oh my gosh. Chill, dude. Like, we don't need it, but holy smokes, that's crazy.
I,
I don't
I kind of
know.
think that is what Computex is all about.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, actually, that's a fair point. That's what Computex is all about. Yep.
because I mean, AMD was talking about all of their CPUs that they are releasing. One of the big things is they are releasing a new chip for their AM4 platform, which is a platform that is over 10 years old. They are still supporting this old platform. And I mean, that's just kind of like in a competition between them and Intel. This is like them winning, but continuing to slam dunk the ball every time in a basketball game, every time they get to the basket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because with Intel, you maybe get 3 years at the most of support for the specific socket. Here, AMD is, I mean, they have their new AM5 platform. They are still supporting AM4, which is really good for people that have the older socket. They can still upgrade their CPUs. So yeah, I really think that Computex is just a measuring game to see who can come up with the best tech. Asus is having like their 20th year, and they have come out with some pretty cool things at their booth. One of their items was their new Xbox LIX handheld. So we're going to get a new generation of that. So for all of you that were waiting to get it last year and got it at the end of the year when we're lucky enough, now it's going to be outdated because you have a new one that's coming out this year,
New one,
which is
baby.
a little bit unfortunate. But I think the changes that are coming to this are really welcomed. It's going to have an OLED screen, so the picture will be a lot more nice, and the will be a little bit bigger. So it will kind of feel like going from a Switch 1 to a Switch 2,
Yeah.
where the screen size is a little bit bigger. Also, what I think is really cool, they have new thumbsticks that will not be susceptible to stick drift,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
pretty cool.
That honestly, I'm not kidding right now. I'm not joking. That is technological advancement. I hate stick drift. My kids
Yeah.
hate stick drift. I'm like, we got to get rid of this. This is like they got to manufacture it some better way. So no stick drift. I'm like, dude, that's a leap for me. I'm like, yes, that's what we
Sign
want.
me up.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, cool, bigger screen, no stick drift. Yes, please. You know?
And the directional pad, I've never seen anything like this before, but you can change it from like your normal D-pad, the up, down, left, right, and you can switch it to like the dish D-pad that comes with the
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can change it like whenever you want, which is really cool.
Don't the don't the Xbox Elite controllers have that swappable?
They do, but it's like you have to pull it off and put it back on. With this, all you have to do is rotate the D-pad and it makes that change.
Interesting.
And this is a new technology that's supposedly going to come to the new Xbox Pro controller that's going to be coming out with the next generation of Pro controller. They're going to have that. So,
Pro controller. Tell me, is that below the?
no, the Elite controllers. So, I made a faux pas.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I see.
Yeah. The
Sony's
next
Pro.
Yeah, the next Xbox Elite controller, whenever that does come out, will have, allegedly, reports are it will have that same technology.
Cool. That's pretty sick. I love it. That's cool.
So
How do you feel?
one
How
of
do you
the,
feel? Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
one
Finish
of the
your statement.
downsides with this
Yeah.
Xbox Ally X is it is going to be bundled with VR glasses. So you have to get that bundle together. So not only is it expensive as it is, but you're paying more for
What?
augmented reality glasses. That puts the price in over 2000.
Bro, why? I'm looking at the glasses too. No, why? This reminds me of like when new movies would come out when we were like teenagers. The movie theaters were pushing for 3D movies so hard, and they
Mm-hmm.
would like release a brand new movie. It's like only on 3D. I'm like, I don't want to see it on 3D. I want to see it normal. I don't want to wear dumb glasses and watch crappy 3D. I want the regular screen. And this is what it feels like. These
Yeah.
glasses, like, I don't know, they're kind of Ray-Ban esque
Yeah.
almost, but like some like unique shapes. Dude, I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that.
Yeah. I'm not either. I was like almost okay. I could see myself upgrading to this, but then I'm like I don't want to pay for the glasses too. So I will probably skip this generation.
Yeah, that's actually lame, in my opinion. My question is, are all the games formatted to be VR or like AR? It says gaming AR glasses. So are they all formatted to be AR?
Not all of them.
Thank
As I
goodness.
look at my Steam library, there's some like looking at games, there's some that say like VR support for
Hmm.
this.
Okay.
I know for instance like F125 that that has VR support, and I think that would be kind of cool. You know, you sit in your sim
That
rig
is, yeah,
and you have your VR glasses and you're just driving.
that would be one that would actually be pretty cool. But I don't like the idea of being forced to do VR in order to like play the game, you know? I don't like it. What are your thoughts on handheld gaming devices in general?
So I got into the real hype of them last Christmas, and I thought I was going to be like, oh, I thought this would be really cool. I thought it would be to solve my problems, like if I just wanted to casually game on the couch, play with my handheld. One thing that I've noticed is that some of the games that I would play on there, it is much harder to play the handheld version of that game.
Yeah,
One, because the screen is small, and two, it's just not as smooth as my
mm,
computer.
gotcha.
So, for instance, like I think a really good game to play on handheld would be Spider-Man 2, because that's a story-driven game. You're not online and having to chat and yell at people when they shoot you in the back. So, but it just no matter like how low I put the settings, it just doesn't run as smoothly on a handheld device because it's a very taxing type of game.
Yeah, that's good to know. I feel like I just wouldn't ever really play a handheld. And I only feel that way because my wife gifted me the Nintendo Switch, the first one, years ago.
Hmm.
And I would only play it on like the airplane when I was traveling. And then other than that, I never really played it. When I was at home, I wouldn't play it on like when I was out and about. I would just game at night with friends on my Xbox.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the use case I have, or at least that's my approach to gaming right now, which is like I only play games every once in a while with friends on the weekends, and I usually will just play on my Xbox because it's nice because I have a big screen, a big TV above, and I can play on my big TV. There's a couch behind me,
Hmm.
or I could play on my monitor right here. I have like input switch, and that's just nice because it's big and it's right in front of me, and I get like the full capabilities of a Xbox Series S.
Right.
So it's just nice. But also the handhelds are really expensive. Like
Yeah, they
the
are absurdly expensive.
yeah, like the Asus, the Ally, that they're not affordable. Like they are
Yeah,
very
they were.
expensive. And so
Yeah, like for Christmas they were $1,000 for the brand for the new ones,
yeah,
which is a lot of money
it's
for a little thing. And I
for
mean,
sure.
like, so I have the Switch 2. Mostly I play that on the TV because family wants to play together.
Kids.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. And playing in handheld mode, I've never really done it. It's just not my bag, I guess.
Yeah, and you're not really missing out on much on handheld mode. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fun if I was traveling, but other than that, I'm like probably the same problems that or like the same complaints you have, which is like the screen's a little small, it's just not as comfortable.
Yeah. And I love playing shooter games, and now that I've gotten like practice like using mouse and keyboard for shooter games, it is really hard for me to aim with a controller. And I used to be pretty decent, mediocre at best with a
Uh-huh.
controller, but now
Yeah.
it is a lot harder to go back to a controller
You
after
got
doing
that
mouse and
that
keyboard.
wrist flick going, huh?
Yeah.
Look at that wrist. That's good, dude. Yeah. Mouse and keyboard always dominates. Not gonna lie. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool technology. I think for those who love handheld gaming, this is a new option for you, which sounds exciting, especially if you love augmented reality.
Yeah.
So,
So, but for our viewers that have been looking at Computex, what has been your favorite thing that's been announced? What are you most excited about? Let us know, and we can nerd out in the comments together.
yeah, I haven't been keeping up with it, so I'm curious to know what everyone else has been looking at and what they've liked there. Speaking of nerding out, should we talk about nerding out over finances and
Yes.
what's to come? So there's been a lot of news around three companies going public. Okay. First one is the largest IPO in the history of the world, SpaceX. And included in that is XAI. They kind of brought that in. And I looked at financial numbers. SpaceX is actually profitable. It's XAI that's like in the red, very negative,
Mhm.
not profitable at all. And so net, it's like not a lot of profit. With that being said, it's going to be the largest IPO and valued over $1 trillion. Might even be pushing 2 trillion if I remember correctly. Let me just double check here. 1.77 trillion. Dude, we're living in the world of teas, bro. Teas.
That
I
is
cannot get over that.
crazy.
We just can't fathom $1 trillion. We cannot fathom that. It's insane. And then we on the back of that, we have OpenAI, which started out as a nonprofit firm, nonprofit organization. And little by little, we all saw where they were going. We talked about this on the podcast. Very much for profit behavior. And they're looking to do an IPO as well. maybe not as big as SpaceX, but still, I think $1 trillion as well. Anthropic also enters the IPO race, stepping up with OpenAI, and they're estimated to be valued just under a trillion, like 900 and something billion. Not that much. It's like not you didn't hit the T, buddy. You didn't hit the T.
Mm-hmm.
So 965 billion, insane. That was like their last valuation. So we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of IPOs happening. The one thing, Ethen, that people are worried about with the SpaceX IPO, this is where we're going to nerd out a little bit, is
Ooh, I love it.
Elon is known for taking out money, debt, and using his shares as collateral, like value collateral.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are worried that because they have money invested in like 401ks and different portfolios, those portfolios are going to be purchasing SpaceX stock, therefore increasing the value of SpaceX stock. And Elon Musk is going to leverage his ownership over stock and get a loan out and use the loan as just living money, $1 trillion loan because it's leveraged against stock. And then, either liquidate his stock or whatever it might be. I don't know. But the idea is like a lot of people are going to be investing in SpaceX, and depending on how Elon acts and how he moves, he could crash and burn and essentially rug pull a lot of people. Now, I gave you the quick and dirty version, very much not cohesive, but he has 85% ownership in this company, so he cannot be voted out. He cannot be voted off. He cannot be overturned. Everything will be his. To give you an idea of how people are reacting to the SpaceX IPO, usually 5% of a stock, of a Fortune 100 company stock, is available to the public market, to like regular consumers like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
About 5%, 5 to 10%. Okay. And the rest are like organizations like investment firms that are managing portfolios, et cetera. They usually take the bulk of the stock, like your Vanguards, BlackRock, right, et cetera. The SpaceX IPO, the investment firms, a lot of them don't want to touch it. 35% is going to consumers like you and me, is going to be available to consumers, you and me.
Wow.
Because these investment institutions are passing it up. They're saying like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to touch that because there's too much risk involved, and because of Elon's control. But then also there were laws changed of like previously when a stock went public, in order to qualify for these certain portfolios to be added as like a NASDAQ Fortune 100, it had to have a certain time frame. I think it was 30 days or maybe it was multiple months, like 2 or 3 quarters, where the stock, would fluctuate at the very beginning and then it would kind of even keel out, right? And become stable. Now, the laws have changed to where new IPO stocks or IPO companies that have a valuation above a certain thresholds, where they're Fortune 100, Fortune 40, they can be added within, I think it's 5 days, 3 days, 5 days. And that is such a volatile stock still. Right. And so the people are worried that this is going to be added to fund, and your 401k is going to automatically invest in this fund. And as a result, you are going to be subject to the volatility of SpaceX. Now, will that impact heavily your portfolio? Most likely not. A small percentage will probably be invested in SpaceX, but still, there's risk there.
There's risk.
So a lot of people are like concerned about it. That's a lot that I've just said. Tell me your thoughts about Elon. Do you feel like he might rug pull people? Do you feel like this might crash and burn? What are your thoughts here?
That I've been thinking about this because like I've kind of been comparing it to how Rivian's IPO went probably about 5 years ago. Everyone thought Rivian was going to be the next Tesla when it came out. Their stock price IPO was at $129. A lot of people invested in it. It went up for the first few days. And then after that, they are now trading at $18 a share.
Yowza. My gosh.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And it's been at that pretty much since 2021. Like it's just kind of, it's held steady at that point. But it's going to take a while for it to ever get back up to the original IPO price. So like all those people that have been like in it and holding on to it, hoping it's going to go up, that hope hasn't come.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious if this is going to be the same thing, because I know there is a whole lot of hype behind SpaceX. Everyone wants to get in this IPO because they've been in the news. They're doing great things. And I don't know. I wonder if it's going to be an emotional buy at the beginning where it goes up and then falls drastically from then. And so I don't know. There's a lot of things that are different about the situation. Like you mentioned Elon's ownership. I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt, even though I have no reason to. I don't know that he's going to rug pull everyone out, but I think just with the volatility of it, I don't know that it's going to be what the initial offering is at for very long. And I don't know that it's going to go up drastically from the beginning, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think it might go up right at the beginning, and then it may nosedive after that.
See that, and that's the risk, because within just a few days of it going public, it will be added to these different funds. And I don't necessarily manage every little trade that my 401k does, right? Mm-hmm. I leave that to who I go through. I think Fidelity. I should know that. It's Fidelity. I know. It's Fidelity. And so for me, I'm like, okay, if you're going to invest in SpaceX, it's going to be available to invest in within like 3 days, I think, or 5 days. And if that's still like riding a high and you invest at the high, that's not proper investing. That's not like sell high, buy low, like
right.
Classic, like non-emotional investing. But if they invest in the high because it becomes available in those funds, then later down the line, it'll crash and burn. Whereas previously, with the prior laws in place, there was protection about, I think, 30 days or multiple quarters where the stock had to maintain a certain price or at least a certain value, and the volatility would like kind of tail out a bit after time, right? People were less emotional. There was a lot more stabilization. So that's a worry that a lot of people have.
Yeah. So I think it's a valid concern, and I think those concerns are real. But it is going to be interesting to see. I want to say that like I'd want to get into that IPO and ride it out for a couple of days and get that increase and then sell it. But I don't know how well that's going to turn out, because there's a lot of unique factors to this.
Mm-hmm. I also think too, like a lot of hyped up IPOs kind of tend to crash.
Yeah.
Maybe not crash, but maybe not do as successful as they had been in the past. Rivian's one of them. I think Uber and Lyft were also two that were like pretty hyped up, and then they didn't pan out to what people had expectations for.
Right.
And so if you're listening and you're worried about the SpaceX, number one, do your research. Obviously, very much so do your research. Number two, you can go in and you can pick different ETFs that don't include the tech space and are not going to include SpaceX in the portfolio of the fund. So you can avoid investing, and at least do that for a quarter or two, just for the cool down period. So there's ways you can get away with it If you don't touch it, I think it'll be fine. You might see a little bit of a dip if what we're saying is true, but it's just definitely this is a unique situation, especially with like the merger with XAI and all
Yeah.
that. It's all so up in the air. So, not financial advice by any means. Do not sue us. This is not financial advice. This is just our opinions, merely informational for entertainment purposes only. That's our
Yes.
disclaimer.
And I mean, just to give everyone context, I know we've talked about this a little bit before on an earlier episode, but if we were to convert all of these trillions of dollars to seconds to something that, us mere mortals can understand, a million seconds is about 17 days worth of time. A billion seconds is 31 years of time.
17 days to 31 years. I cannot a trillion is stupid.
And 1 trillion seconds is approximately 31,688 years.
My God, oh my gosh. 17 days, dude, millionaire. I've got multiple months in my bag. I'm a millionaire, multimillionaire. I'm a trillionaire. Dude, I have 31,000 years in my bag, bro. My gosh. That is stupid. It's so stupid. I cannot believe that anything valued that much. Is it really worth that much money? Like, do you think like the value of that company, like, is it really providing that much value to the world?
Maybe in the future, but not right now.
Yeah, and that's what people look at. Future, what is it? Future discounted cash flow, and
Yeah.
then just the future benefit of the company. I mean, listen, if SpaceX takes us to the moon and we're living on another planet, okay, fair enough. $1 trillion company. All right, that's fair. But right now, I don't know. We're still trying to figure out how to launch the biggest rocket and land it back and reuse it. So
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. This is wild.
So, yeah, I think SpaceX is doing some great things right now, but it's very early in their greatness. And
Agreed.
so I think this value is a little overinflated. But hey, I guess if people are willing to pay for it, who am I to stop?
Yeah, true. I do think I've lost some trust in Elon based on like historical situations, but I don't think he's gonna like rug pull and let this crash and burn. I think too much time, too much investment, too much vision is there. I think he still has the vision, he has the goal. But I do think he has a lot of hot air and he's a pretty smart dude to try and like manipulate and get the success that he wants.
Yeah,
So,
that is true. I mean, we still don't have the Roadster yet, and
no roadster.
that's 10 years.
Yep. And the whole Tesla like unveiling event of their next line of technology with the robots and the
Yeah,
Robovan and all that stuff. In my mind, I'm like, that was all kind of a facade, in my
yeah,
opinion. There's people behind the robots using them, and I don't know. So the SpaceX thing, I'm like, I'm
yeah.
not gonna invest in it.
What is the what is the what's behind the curtain
Yeah,
with all of this?
yeah,
I I think Elon is very capable of manipulating the situation to serve his interests.
yeah, for sure. Especially if he has 85% of the company.
Yeah, which is an insane amount because generally, like when somebody starts a company, usually by this time they've had to give up enough equity to keep it alive with other investors.
Yeah, that and if he has 85% of the ownership, and if this goes to 1.7 trillion, he will be worth just by this company alone 1.5 trillion dollars. And then he's gonna go to the bank or whoever and say, "I've got 1.5 trillion worth of stock. I want to leverage it to pull out cash. I I want to leverage it as collateral. And that's where people are worried. They're like, you're just going to use our money that we invested as like your collateral. Anyway, that's a deeper conversation we can get into another time, not on the Bed Tech podcast, but interesting thoughts there.
Yeah. So let us know your thoughts. Do you think there will be a rug pull? What do you think of this IPO? Do you think it's going to be worth getting in at the very start? Or should we wait and see? Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you like this episode. That really does help out our channel. If you didn't, that other button seems to work all right as well. Make sure you send this to somebody you dislike. I know they could use it in their life. As always, ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you never miss out on any content as it's posted on the channel. Until next time, stay classy and have a great evening.
Peace.